Full and uncut versions available on Patreon. Check in the description below.
Greetings once again, Pokemaniacs. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with more of the Pokemon Adventures manga, where previously we completed what is known as the red, blue, and green art. Very colorful indeed. And now we enter into the yellow art. But previously, we got to see the end of Red's adventures in Kanto, as it were. He had managed to defeat Team Rocket alongside Green and Blue. He managed to stop the rampage of the experimental Pokemon Mewtwo alongside Blaine. He entered into the Indigo League, facing off with his rivals, where we even got a bit of a glimpse into Green's history. Also a child from Pallet Town who had been taken away by some legendary bird Pokemon. I don't actually know, but I think it was Ho-Oh. And she faced off against Professor Oak because she had stolen Squirtle, feeling that it was her right as she was also a child from Pallet Town. Oak agreed with this, though not with her methodology, wanting to make things right and make an honest trainer out of the girl. And so Blue and Red faced off against each other in the finals, and Red came out on top. We even had a showdown with Giovanni as well, which was incredibly intense. And Giovanni just kind of disappears into the ether, as it were. Red really came out on top, and now as a new trainer takes the spotlight. And while I do know some things about her, I don't know a lot. So I'm interested to see what this adaptation of Pokemon Yellow, and I know it's a very loose adaptation at that, especially considering that Ash is more regulated to the anime. He's had several years. Let's give the spotlight to someone else, shall we? Alright, let's jump in. We have our protagonist Yellow, and she has a Pikachu and a Doduo. Oh yeah, didn't we also have the silhouettes of the Elite Four? I wonder how they factor into this story. We pick up outside of the destroyed Silpho building, which is wild. In the game, nothing really happens to it. I don't even think it gets destroyed in the anime. But here, oof, got wrecked. We pick up with Agatha walking through the ruins saying, "Ooh, they really demolished this place." So this is what the once mighty Sylph Company comes to. Like they say, the bigger they are, the bigger they fall. Which, that's not how that goes. She pokes around in the rubble and manages to pull out I don't even remember what the name of this thing was. The specialized the Pokemon Badge Energy Amplifier. As Agatha says, "Now, well, I guess it always pays to check." Hey, she's not wrong. She hefts the thing away. As the narration goes, since the battle that raged at the massive Sylph building, Team Rocket's headquarters. I feel like there was supposed to be more to that narration. Oh, 2 years have flown by. 2 years? Wow. We pick up in northern Pallet Town, where a child is getting carried away by a Ponyta. In chapter 41, Ponyta Tale. He tries to hang on for dear life, saying, "Easy, easy, be a good little." You notice he's approaching someone saying, Look out, you there, get out of the wood." But Red stands up, brandishes his Pokeball, and unleashes his Venusaur in the path of the Ponyta. I think it's Stun Spore he uses on the Ponyta, which falls to the ground, launching the child into the air. The child screams, "I'm gonna hit the rocks!" But before he can do so, he's caught in Venusaur's plant? Whatever. The boy says, "What?" as he's caught. As Red says, "Nice move, Venusaur." He then pets the Ponyta, saying, it's okay. "Oh hey, you alright?" The boy comes over saying, "Oh." They cheapify everyone and Red looks so much taller. I thought it was a child, but the person says, "Son, you're a lifesaver." My Ponyta suddenly bolted. I don't know why. Red says, "That's easy to figure out. This clean Pallet Town air is pretty energizing to Pokemon. You probably just wanted to run a little, huh, Ponyta?" The mail carrier says, "Well, can't be resting, I'm still on the job. Folks in Pallet Town will be looking for their mail." Red then notices the letters that are sprawled out of the carrier's bag. He sees one addressed to the 9th Pokemon League tournament winner. Red picks it up as the carrier gets all the letters back in his bag saying, "Hey, you're from Pallet Town, so maybe you'd know. This letter's addressed to just Red." You know him? Red goes, I guess I know him a little. Because Red of Palatown is me. Wow, Red looks taller now. Well, at least when he's not cheapified. 2 years really did pass. What is he, 12 now? He started his journey when he was 10, right? I'm not sure. The carrier says, what? You mean you're the winner of the last Pokemon League tournament? Red says, yep, and thanks for the letter. As he dashes off, a little whiles away, he sits on a rock next to Venusaur and opens it up, with a letter coming out saying challenge. As Red takes a look at the letter, he says, challenge to a battle, huh? We then cut to somewhere in the northwestern area of Kanto, where we see Bruno. Is he battling with an Onix? As the Onix lunges at Bruno, his eye opens slightly, and he swings something which looked like Pokemon nunchucks? Yeah, that's weird. He sends out Hitmonlee, and Hitmonlee kicks the Onix in the face, downing it in one hit. Oh, he full-on knocked the Onix block off. The Onix lands gracefully, as Bruno sweats profusely from the battle. Yeah, it was so physically taxing on him. A voice calls out, bravo! Lorelei is sitting above on a nearby cliff, saying, utterly absorbed in your training as always, Bruno. Bruno looks to her, saying, one cannot neglect rigorous self-training. Lorelei goes, you should ease up a bit. Your brain might turn into a muscle too. Hey, the brain is a muscle, one of the most powerful. Bruno says, what do you want, Lorelei? Lorelei plops down on the ground, saying, just to let you know, the winner of the last Pokemon League tournament, what was his name? Scarlet? No, Red of Palatown. I sent him a letter of challenge in your name. Bruno pauses for a moment, as Lorelei says, I know. I couldn't care less, but it's Lance's idea, so just get it done, Uh-oh. I'm starting to remember that I think the Elite Four were bad guys in this version. Dude, at least before half of the gym around half of the gym leaders were good. Are all of the Elite Four bad? We're up to something. Oh, and now 1 month later at Professor Oak's laboratory in Palatown, where Misty has called into Oak's lab saying, Professor Oak, hey, what did you just say? Oak, who seems to be working on something, says, I said, will you stop shouting? And I said I haven't seen Red since he got that letter of challenge. Misty says, a challenge? No wonder I can't get a hold of him. Oak, still tinkering, says, you have to expect these things now, Misty. Ever since he won at the Pokemon tournament, he's been getting one challenge after another. I remember when I won the tournament, seemed like there wasn't a trainer in the land who didn't want to see if he could match up against. But Misty cuts him off saying, Professor, have you heard from Red at all during the whole month? Oak seems to be tinkering with a new Pokédex that opened up, looks like a freaking gamepad, or a Game Boy I should say. Says, well, not really, but he should be fine. No ordinary trainer can stand up to Red now. I'll vouch for that. My only complaint is he still hasn't completed his Pokédex. Look, there's a lot of weird Pokemon out there, buddy. All he wants to do now is take on challengers and raise the levels of the Pokemon he's already got. And Red, after a man after my own heart, because that's usually how I do things. Complete the Pokédex? Are you crazy? All the weird added stuff I gotta do to do that? Yeah, you can have that. I'm just out to have a fun journey, thank you very much. He's hardly made any additions in 2 years. Missy says, lighten up. Professor, is the completion of the Pokédex that urgent? Oak says, well, yes. I've discovered that the total number of different types of Pokemon far exceeds the 151 previously known. I'm very busy with a whole new Pokédex. Yeah, you're gonna be busy a lot there, Oak. And I'd like to have the Pokédex for the original 151 finished by the time my new Pokédex is done. In time for the new game. Missy says, new Pokédex? He pouts saying sheesh. And Res asks me for help getting official permission to become a gym leader. He'll never finish that Pokédex at this rate. Oak laughs, letters of challenge, approval to become a gym leader, a Pokédex? Red's quite the busy one. Meanwhile, Blue and Green have left Palatown on their own quest too. Once again, I've been left here all alone. He leans back in his chair saying, though I suppose it does help me concentrate on my research. Misty then notices something saying, hey Professor, what's that? Oak says, oh, this is the letter of challenge I was talking about. Who would write a letter by hand in the computer age anyway? God, already saying this. And when did this come out? It was published in 1998. Jeebus, to already be saying stuff like that is wild. Oak examines the letter saying it was sent by, it says, how am I supposed to read this? Suddenly there's a knock at his door as Oak says, speak of the devil. Oak goes rustling around in his drawers as Missy says, what are you doing, Professor? Oak says, oh, just grabbing my rubber gloves. With that much electricity flowing through the doorknob, it could be Red and Pikachu. Well, let's not keep it a mystery. Let's see what comes in. How do you know electricity was coming through the doorknob? Oh God, it's Pikachu who's beating the holy hell. Jeebus. Missy and Oak are shocked as Oak says, You're hurt. He kneels down saying, Red, what about Red? But Pikachu can barely let out a Pika before he falls to the ground. Oak screams out for the small creature. Next, we pick up with Yellow riding on her Doduo, riding up to Pallet Town as she says, woo, finally here, Pallet Town. Calls out to some kids saying, hey, you there, need some information, I'm looking for, and then sits down to draw, saying, here, yeah, not bad. You know this Pokemon? As she draws a picture of Pikachu that reads Mischievous Electric Mouse attacks Thunderbolt Thundershock as we pick up in chapter 42. Do that Doduo. Oaks tries to call out to Pikachu saying, come on Pika, hang on. What happened to Red? What about the other Pokemon? Oaks says as he holds Pikachu, but Misty calls out, Professor, take care of Pika first. Oak says, right, as he rushes off, putting Pikachu in a Pokeball to be healed. Oak then looks back at the letter saying, Bruno. Misty questions, Professor, could Red be? Oak says, Misty, if Pikachu is in this condition, I must conclude that Red was defeated by the one who sent this letter, a trainer by the name of Bruno. Misty says, Red? Beaten? I can't believe it. Oak says, but what else could explain this? Pikachu coming back injured without Red. There's no time to lose. I'm going to contact everyone and ask for their help. Misty, contact all the gym leaders about this situation. Misty says I'm on it before hanging up. Suddenly, Oak's door creaks open as Yellow enters while still on her Doduo, rude, and goes up to Oak saying, hello. Oak questions, who are you? Listen, I have a situation here, so if you could come back later. Yellow then spots Pikachu saying, oh, it's here. It's really here. She rushes over, saying, it's just like they told me. She brings Pikachu out of its Pokeball and nuzzles it, saying, I knew it. I knew you'd come back to Pallet Town. Oak says, what? Hey, who do you think you are? What do you mean you knew it? Knew what? Yellow says, wait, too many questions at once. And suddenly, Pikachu's healed. Does Yellow have healing abilities? Why? She has the power of aura. Yellow says, hey there. And Pikachu gives a smile. Oak's taken aback, thinking, Pikachu knows him? Oak thinks Yellow's a dude. Well, she doesn't have a very feminine appearance, but I mean, considering the situation, most people Yellow's age wouldn't. Is Yellow even 10 by now? Maybe. How old was Yellow when we were first introduced to her? Yeah, I'm not really sure. They don't really give ages, even in the wiki. I mean, at least to a certain degree. Yellow then heads for the door with Pikachu saying, okay, let's go. With Oak, following outside saying, wait just a minute. What do you think you're doing? You barge in here, you say you grab you. What is this? Do you know Red? Yellow says yes. Short, sweet, to the point. A girl after my own heart. Oak says, did you come here knowing that he was missing? Yellow says yes. Oak then asks, where is Red now? Yellow says, I don't know. Oak then asks, how did you learn that Red was missing and that Pikachu was back in Pallet Town? Yellow takes a moment but then says, that I can't tell you. Oak then asks, what's your name? Yellow says, sorry, not that either. What's with all the secrecy? Oak gets mad saying, this is ridiculous. On what grounds do you... But Yellow stops him saying, Professor, I'm going with Pikachu to find Red. That's why I came here. Oak says, it's insane. We don't even know what happened to... Yellow stops him again saying, if by chance Red is being held captive by some unknown force. Oak says, held captive? But Yellow confidently says, I will free him. Oak and Yellow stare at each other for a moment. Oak then brings out his Sparrow. Sparrow? Sparrow. Saying Spearow, but Sparrow. I guess the one from the tournament. And Oak says, Red is the current champion of the Pokemon League. He's been honing his skills in battle for 2 years and he was defeated. Haven't you noticed Pikachu's condition? What do you think you can do against whoever did that? He then tells Spearow to use Fury Attack. Do you think I trust Red's survival to an arrogant greenhorn like you? If you think you have the skill to save him, then show me by ending this battle. Yellow says, I might just do that. Doduo, Whirlwind, which so weird because the way Doduo is. Well, Doduo does just that, and Oak tells Spearow to use Mirror Move, unleashing the winds back. Yellow says, keep whirling. Keep whirlwinding. Oak thinks Whirlwind versus Mirror Move. You've managed to block my attack, but you haven't gotten through to me. Red would have found a way to blast through Spearow's Mirror Move by now. Since neither of our attacks is reaching the other, what do you do? Press on or retreat? Yellow takes a moment as Oak continues to say, is it fair to say that your hands are tied? I don't doubt that you heard something about Red and probably think you can save him. But if this is your best, you're better off staying out of the way. Yellow continues to say nothing before calling out to Doduo. Doduo runs off and is followed by Spearow. But Doduo starts to kind of dodge and weave, I don't know what this is, a serpentine move? Oak thinks to himself, buying some time? But Doduo runs so quickly around Spearow that Spearow gets dizzy and falls to the ground. But Yellow has Pikachu catch Spearow before it can hit the ground. Oak rushes over to Yellow saying, hey, that doesn't count. You can't settle this by making them both dizzy. Yellow then smiles saying, you told me to end the battle. Oak says, but. Yellow goes over to comfort Spearow saying, just be glad that neither Pokemon got hurt. Oak then thinks that's right. My Spearow never had to take the opponent's attack. It doesn't have a scratch. And his Doduo, protecting itself with its Whirlwind counterattack. Again, not a scratch. Brought me to a standstill. With such control that neither Pokemon was hurt in the least. As he watches Yellow nuzzle with the Spearow. Aww. Yellow got such an affinity for Pokemon. Oak then calls out, you, come with me. You then head over to Red's house. Just like in any series, you're just entering people's houses. You see Red's Pokédex on the table as Oak says, that's Red's Pokédex. He had the nerve to leave it behind. Knowing that reckless student of mine, he probably took on his opponent knowing full well that he couldn't win. Yellow looks at the Pokédex as Oak then says, just now you yelled Pika, the nickname Red gave this particular Pikachu, even though I never used it in front of you. Yellow says, yes. Oak says, I must say, you're awfully rude barging into my lab without even giving me your name. Obviously knowing what's going on, but not telling us. But you understand Red's connection with Pika. And Pika's instinct is to trust you. I choose to trust you too, rude or not. I know you're a friend of Red's, he says as he pets Pika. He then hands over the Pokédex saying, Red is pretty tough. I hope he's not injured. Please take this Pokédex and Pikachu to him. Yellow takes it saying, I will. As Yellow heads off, Oak then says to himself, wait a minute, did Pika suddenly get well when that kid touched him? Or was that just my imagination? And Yellow takes off with Pika saying, come on Pika, let's go. Alright, chapter 43, CC Seadra. As we see Yellow fishing with Pikachu about to catch a Magikarp. We pick up in a river in the Viridian Forest. Yellow is fishing and yawns, saying, so sleepy. Suddenly, her lure starts to act up, saying, something tugging. Pikachu, though, is taking off as Yellow says, going for a walk, Pika? Don't wander too far. And as the lure comes up, Yellow says, a Sea King. Yellow uses her rod, saying, okay, and manages to catch the Sea King, only for it to instantly get released. Yellow going, guess I can't expect to capture it without a battle. Elsewhere in the Viridian Forest, we see none other than Bill wandering about saying, almost to Viridian City, on the road to Viridian City. Saying, dang, but I've been missing the place. Ain't seen it since Red and the others went through here to get to Indigo Plateau. 2 years just gone flying by. Can't believe it. Suddenly 2 Pokemon move past him, a Weezing and Sandslash. Bill saying, just like I figured. Ever since Team Rocket used this forest for breeding and training those experimental Pokemon of theirs, the ecology's been thrown all out of whack. Soon as I finalize this data, I'm taking it on down to Celadon University as my thesis. This'll stir things up a little, hee hee hee. God. Suddenly there's another rustling. Bill saying, what now? He goes chasing after the silhouette of Pikachu, who runs past the log as Bill says, wait, I said... But he ends up slipping into the river that Pikachu crossed on the log, falling in. As he spots Pikachu, Bill thinks, a Pikachu? But Bill can't get out of the water, thinking, dang it, my pack's too heavy. Pikachu takes off and goes to Yellow. As Yellow says, hey Pika, you're back. How was your walk? Pikachu freaks out. As Yellow says, huh? What did you say? Okay, just hang on. Oh, is this the power of Aura? I think it would have been better if I read this before all of that stuff, because I keep thinking, this is friggin' Aura. The only thing is, I don't know if Aura can allow you to heal, but being able to read minds, or at least a kind of telepathic synchronicity, or maybe it's a different kind of technique. There's a lot of strange abilities in the world of Pokemon, just outside of just the psychic stuff we saw with Sabrina. And who knows, maybe even Sabrina has a type of aura that's more directed towards psychic. Like, there's some people in the Pokemon world, shoot, even when it comes to Ash, he has aura powers to a certain degree. That's why I was waiting for the longest time for him to get a Lucario. And when he finally got a Lucario and that helped, he got to the championships and all that, I'm just like, yes, finally. And you still see, they're still keeping in canon, Ash has aura powers. Not to mention, there are multiple times where people meme about the fact that Ash is kind of stupidly strong. Like, weirdly strong. Even as far as an anime goes, like, Ash is doing some stuff that just, like, that doesn't quite add up. Like, no. So, this might have been before the days of Aura, but it kind of feeling that way. So as Yellow seems to read at Pikachu's mind, he turns saying, all right, let's go. He heads over to where Bill fell in, where he definitely drowned by now. As the bubbles stop, Yellow shouts, hang on, hey, I'm gonna get you out of there. She throws in a rope and dang, she's a whiz. Managed to bind around his arm while he was in the water. Man, is that the power of Aura too? I'm sorry, I'm probably going to keep saying that whenever some weird stuff goes on with Yellow, but I'm pretty sure she has some telekinesis and telepathy. I think maybe that lure I saw moving before might have been her powers. Cause I'm like, kind of like the Pokeball homed in on the Sea King. But now I'm starting to wonder. Bill, who oddly enough didn't drown, says, thanks. Yellow, as she's pulling him out of the water, says, are you all right? Suddenly, Bill feels something in the water saying, huh? What the? A whirlpool appears, and suddenly out pops a wild Seadra, who looks pissed. Seadra reels back, and then uses, I don't know, water gun or something. Yellow shouts out, oh no, don't get down into the water. Bill is suddenly washed away by the increasing current. Yellow shouts, this is serious, Pika. Use Thunder Wave. And Pika does just that on the Seadra. But as Yellow thinks, was that enough? Apparently it wasn't. Man, this is a tough Seadra. Man, those Team Rocket experiments really did increase the level of the natural Pokemon in this area. Yellow says, it's too far to affect. The Pika's weak against water Pokemon. Wait, what? No, or is it that Pikachu can't swim? If this keeps going, he'll be swallowed by Seadra's current. Okay, I'm gonna guess that maybe Pikachu just can't swim. But Pikachu then leaps off of Yellow and onto the rope that Bill's being pulled by. Pikachu gives a nod. Oh, to get up close. As Yellow says, gotcha. Thunder Shock. Pikachu does just that on the Seadra, downing it. Oh no, not downing it. It's pissed even more so than before. It starts to flail around, increasing the current. And as the rope starts to snap, Yellow struggles, thinking, that works, but now the rope. Seadra unleashes even more of a torrent of water. Okay, I think it's using surf. I think that's what's going on here. The rope snaps and Pikachu falls in as well. And yeah, both Bill and Pikachu are get a little swept away in today's events. Yellow races down the stream saying, oh no, the current, it'll be swept away. My fishing pole, gotta make it in time. Yellow grabs her fishing pole. Oh, yeah, huh. And Yellow concentrates on the Pokeball at the end of the lure. Bill watches, and suddenly, Yellow's Pokeball just floats out, and much to the Seadra's shock, he's suddenly caught. Like, dang. Okay, yeah. That's cool. Okay, so with an electric attack, even if Seadra's strong, it would have been greatly weakened, just weak enough for Yellow to catch it. Dang, nice. Feel the power of Aura. I'm sorry. I won't be able to stop. If that's a deal breaker for you, I understand. So as now, the little stream that Bill was in has gone from a raging torrent to knee-high water, much to Bill's perplexity. Bill, still sitting in the drink, says, I'm obliged. Expect I be gone if not for you. Yellow brings back the Pokeball saying, don't mention it. She yawns again saying, if you're going to thank me, thank Pika too. Bill goes, did he just say Pika? By Pika, do you mean that Pika? No wonder little fella looks so familiar. As Yellow helps him out of the water, he says, so what's going on here? Just a moment. Oh, Yellow says, just a moment, I need to heal Seadra first. And as Bill watches on, Yellow holds Seadra in her hands. Meanwhile, Misty contacts Oak again saying, Professor, you just gave the Pokedex and Pikachu to some unknown kid? And Oak just goes, that's right, with a smile. God. Misty cradling Krabby, the one that she got from Red previously and trading it off for a Gyarados, which I guess they never traded back, huh? Misty thinks I can't believe him. Red. Oak then goes back to something, saying, now, Misty, we can't afford to lose our cool in this situation. Misty goes, we. Oak then turns, saying, am I right, Pidgeotto? Pidgeotto goes, Pidgey. Oak says, okay, it's done. I'm counting on you. And he sends Pidgeotto off with a message. To who? I don't know. We pick up in chapter 44. Do Wrong, Do Gong. As Lorelei is overlooking from a nearby cliffside Bill and Yellow as they head back to Yellow's camp, Lorelei says, so, the lone Pikachu that escaped from Bruno's battle will be mine at last. As she gazes down at Pikachu, Bill sneezes while Yellow yawns again. Bill dries his hair saying, camping equipment? So he's traveling, is he? Hey there. Yellow's already nodded off as Bill says, asleep already. Pikachu goes running about as Bill thinks, he called you Pika. Sure looks like it could be Red's Pika, but there could be two with the same nickname. He goes over to Pikachu saying, hey Pika, it's me, Bill. Remember me? And Pikachu shocks him. As Bill sizzles, he says, the similarities increase. He looks over at Yellow's Pokeball lure, saying, now that there's an interesting fishing pole. Seemed like that ball moved on its own against the current. Reckon I could be dreaming. Or it could be some new gadget that, well, how do you do? Just a regular Pokeball attached to a string. But Seadra clatters around in the ball. Bill looks at it saying, hey, is that guy? Its health is back up like it's been to a dang Pokemon Center. Somebody wake me up. A fishing pole with a life of its own? Pokemon that rejuvenate super quick? One with the same name as Red's Pika? Who the heck is this kid? Suddenly a voice calls out to Bill saying, would you be so kind as to give me that Pikachu? Lorelei up on the cliff calls out to Bill. As Bill turns, he says, who is that? Lorelei then unleashes her dugong, telling it to use Aurora Beam, which causes a cold wind to blow past Bill, who, shivers in the freezing air. Bill then turns saying, hey, this is bad. Come on, wake up, to Yellow, who barely stirs. Lorelei then tells her dugong to use Blizzard. And as Bill tries to brace himself, Yellow sneezes, waking up saying, huh? What's happening? It's freezing. Bill yells, it's about time, we're under attack. As the entire landscape is frozen over, Bill yells out to Lorelei, who are you? And why are you after this Pikachu? Lorelei chuckles as Pika grows angry. Lorelei says, do you know of the battle between Red of Palatown and Bruno of the Elite Four? That took place at a certain location. Bill says, a battle between Red and Bruno? This catches Yellow's attention, as Bill says, and Red? What happened to him? Lorelei says, do you think some little Pokemon League tournament winner would stand a chance against a member of the Elite Four? Bill is shocked, saying, no, it can't be, not Red. Lorelei says, however, there was one who escaped the battle. Bill turns to Pika, saying, Pika, I was right. You are Red's Pika. Lorelei motions for Dewgong to attack, saying, the Elite Four have a perfect battle record to preserve. Not only do we crush all the trainers, we don't let even a single Pokemon escape. Which, harsh, as she orders her Dewgong to attack Pikachu, who does its best to evade the blasts of torrents of ice. Lorelei says, it's a matter of reputation, you understand. That's why I need you to give that Pikachu to me. Bill shouts, did you say we? Lorelei says, indeed. I'm still shocked they could hear her from that distance. I too am one of the Elite Four. She gets on her Dewgong, riding down, saying, I'm Lorelei, and my specialty is ice. Bill says, me against Lorelei. As Lorelei rides her Dewgong down on a road of ice, she shouts, you may not defy me. Bill shouts, what's she doing? Lorelei says, just covering that ugly cliff face with a beautiful sheet of ice. Yellow turns, calling out for Doduo to use, I guess, Drillbeak to bring up the bit of ice, and commands Doduo to flip it over on top of Lorelei. Lorelei says, curses, Dewgong! And Dewgong smashes the sheet of ice before it can crash onto Lorelei and Dewgong. Lorelei steps off of Dewgong, looking around, noticing that they've escaped. As she says, they're gone. Cut to a nearby cave where Bill is huffing and puffing, saying, man, I hate days like this. So what that gal was just saying. Yellow goes over to Pika, saying, it's all true, yes. When Red was last seen, he was going off to answer a letter of challenge. He probably thought it was from just another trainer, but it was really from them, and only Pika came back alive. He says as she squeezes Pika. Bill balls up his fist, saying, can't believe it. There is an enemy not even the Pokemon League champion can beat. Yellow says it's true. I don't know if anyone can stand against the Elite Four. A chill runs through Bill as he says, what can we do then? Suddenly, as Yellow nuzzles Pikachu, a light emanates from the two of them, and as Bill shrinks back, saying, what the? Pikachu is now fit as a fiddle. As Bill watches, he says, Who are you? Yellow smiles at him, saying, I'm on a mission from God, not from Professor Oak, to team up with Pikachu and find Red. A shocked Bill says, what? You're not thinking of fighting them? The Elite Four, are you? Don't be insane. Yellow grabs her rod, saying, shall we go? Suddenly, there's something drilling. As Bill says, I'm not stalling, you understand, but do you hear something? Yellow hears the drilling as well, as someone's watching from a laptop. It's Agatha saying, it's about time for Lorelei's favorite attack. Oh, it's Cloyster, who's launching drill attacks again and again. In the cave, Bill says, there it is again. Yellow says, that was too close. They know where we're hiding. They know we're hiding here. They're trying to bury us. Bill says, what? As a drill comes crashing through the roof of the cave. In chapter 45, Cloistered. Bill and Yellow brace themselves as Bill rushes towards the exit, but suddenly they're cut off by several rocks falling in front of them. Bill says, we're trapped. Lorelei on the outside says, it doesn't matter where you hide. First, to keep you from scurrying about, let's restrict you. Then let's have the icy air, tight space freeze you. Bill shivers, saying, cold. Got any bright ideas? I know. Can't your Doduo's power burst us out of this ice? Yellow says, yes, they probably could, but we'll be sitting ducks for those missiles as soon as we step outside. The enemy knows where we are, remember? We need to find out what those missiles are. What makes them so powerful? What kind of Pokemon is shooting them out? And how? It's too powerful to be an ordinary spike cannon. Ah, I guess that makes sense. I forgot about that move. Yellow then points to some light in a crack, saying, look, over there, it's small, but it's an opening. But we can't get out through that tiny... Oh, Bill says, but we can't get out through that tiny little hole? Well, Yellow says, Pika, go into the ball for a moment. And Pikachu does just that. Yellow then attaches the Pokeball to the string on the rod, saying once they're in their Pokeballs, Pokemon are small enough to go in your pocket. You might almost call them Poke Oh my god. Bill says, what are you planning now? Yellow uses the rod and her abilities to sink Pikachu's Pokeball through the hole and out to the light. As Pikachu is now outside, it spots Lorelei combining her two Pokemon, Cloyster and Dewgong, who use some kind of combined attack, creating an even more powerful spike cannon. This message is relayed from Pikachu to Yellow. Yellow says a combined attack. Lorelei then spots Pikachu's Pokeball saying, is that? Yellow, noticing this, goes uh-oh, and pulls Pikachu back through, right before it can be crushed by the spike cannon. Lorelei says, yes, that was our target. Pikachu, trapping them in ice wasn't enough. Did I defeat it? No, it escaped again, barely. Next time it comes out, I'll be waiting. As Yellow pulls Pikachu back through the hole, she's on her hands and knees, breathing heavily. She then takes up Pikachu, saying it's both of them. The ice missiles are made of Cloyster's spike cannon boosted by Dewgong's ice beam. That's why they're so incredibly powerful. If we can't stop either of them, we just might be able to escape. If we could stop either of them, we just might be able to escape. Bill says, well, wait a minute. How do you know what Pikachu saw outside? This happened before with Pika and Seadra. Yellow says, all I know is when I do this, I can somehow faintly sense the feelings and thoughts of Pikachu and other Pokemon. Bill gulps. Her thought? Meanwhile, outside, Lorelei says, the cold inside the cave must have immobilized them by now. They're out of options. They either get hammered by the ice missiles or get jumped climbing out of the rubble. She then notices Pokeball go through the hole again, saying, there, just as I thought, they're using the same trick. They're just begging to be crushed. Cloyster, Dewgong, that ball with Pikachu in it. Destroy it. As they use the giant ice spike again, destroying the Pokeball, Lorelei smiles, saying, got it. But suddenly there's a rumbling, and Yellow, on top of Doduo with Bill, bursts from the cave. Lorelei turns going, what? Bill shouts like a dum-dum, we're over here, with Yellow brandishing the Pokeball with Pikachu inside. Lorelei turns, saying, it can't be. The Pokeball we just destroyed, it's empty? It was a decoy. Lorelei turns back to Yellow, who's charging at her, brandishing her fishing pole, sending out Pikachu. Lorelei calls out, back in your shell, Cloyster, but Yellow commands Pikachu to use Thunder Shock, and shocks the Cloyster, causing its horn to break and it to fall over. Bill says, hoo-hoo, direct hit. That old Cloyster's keeping its shell closed so tight we might be able to finish it off, but it's sure too stunned to be shooting any spike cannons for a while. Dewgong alone ain't gonna be able to make those ice missiles, so now's our chance to get out of here. Lorelei then says, you concentrated only on Cloyster in that attack, didn't you? You knew that with one disabled, the other wouldn't be much of a threat. You must have known who they were before you came out, but you couldn't have seen them from inside the cave. How did you know? Yellow doesn't respond, and Lorelei orders Dewgong to attack, saying, answer me. But Yellow has Duo turn, and they take off, dodging the attack. Bill questions, you're not going to fight back? Yellow says, we're no match. We gotta run. Bill thinks no. He's trying not to injure anybody, even them. He hit Cloyster with Thunder Shock, knowing it'd use its withdrawal power and wouldn't get seriously hurt. Which, I don't know about that. Its freaking horn broke off, but whatever. And now he's avoiding the attacks and not retaliating. What's this kid all about? Mind reader? Healer? And what else? As Lorelei tries to pursue on her Dewgong as they enter into the forest, Lorelei says, no, it seems you're not just running like a coward. You have something normal trainers don't have. What is your name? Yellow says, call me Amarillo. Amarillo del Basqui Verde. Amarillo del Basqui Verde. Doesn't Amarillo stand for yellow? Stands for Yellow of Viridian Forest. You're being cheeky. Oh, elsewhere we see a Jigglypuff with some kind of dish or oh, it's green. Should have known from the Jigglypuff. It says, okay, Jigglypuff, the reception's perfect. Keep the antenna facing that way. And as Green picks up the communication, she hears Lorelei say, your name? Yellow says, call me Amarillo. Amarillo del Basqui Verde. Yellow says, that idiot. My instructions were, do not give your name. Well, honestly, a virtue, I suppose. It probably wouldn't have stayed a secret for very long. Amarillo del Basqui Verde. Yellow of Viridian Forest. Okay. Why phrase it like that? How strange. We then pick back. Oh, so Green is already working with Yellow. Okay. Huh. I wonder, were Yellow and Blue in on what had happened to Red? Did they know something was up? Are Yellow, Green, and Blue working together? It wouldn't be the first time they were doing some stuff behind the scenes. Meanwhile, pick up with Yellow and Bill trying to escape from Lorelei. Dugong then unleashes another torrent of ice. Bill saying, "Hooey! That Dugong is chasing us by making its own ice skating rink. I was sure Dodo would have the advantage in a land race, but well, so much for me." As Dugong moves up next to Doduo, Lorelei chuckles. Yellow saying, "They're almost on top of us." Lorelei has Dugong unleash an ice beam that cuts off Doduo's path. Yellow says they blocked the way. She has Doduo turns to the river. As Bill says, "Hey, that way's the river." Yellow says it's better than getting skewered. As Doduo enters into the water, Bill says, "The second town today." Lorelei has Dugong dive in, saying after them. As they make their way down the river, Bill turns saying, "Looks like they got the advantage this time." I'm not sure what's happening there, but I guess Dugong is closing in. Bill says, "Oh no," as Bill, Yellow, and their Pokemon are flung into the air by a wave. Lorelei then brings back out Cloyster saying, "Let's thank them for the most entertaining match. Aurora Beam." And Cloyster uses just that, freezing the waves underneath Bill and Yellow as they hit it, them trapped now. As Bill says, "My feet," as Lorelei looks upon them and the frozen wave up above, she says, "Ha ha ha, going somewhere?" Bill struggles saying, "Can't get them out." Yellow says, "She froze that whole wave. What power?" Lorelei motions saying, "You call that power?" She commands Cloyster to use supersonic, and Yellow, Bill, and Pikachu all grimace in pain from the attack. Lorelei makes her way up the frozen wave, laughing. "Ha ha ha, you've made this much harder than it had to be." But suddenly, Yellow, having her rod move behind her, is having it tap into the bottom of the wave. She gotta try to suddenly break it from underneath. Lorelei moves up to Yellow, having Cloyster put its horn to her neck, saying, "You owe me an answer at least before you go. You knew that Cloyster and Dugong were together, but how? Could it be that you could somehow sense what Pikachu saw?" Yellow doesn't respond, but Lorelei chuckles. "Got it, didn't I? So the next question is, how powerful is this vision of yours? Can you only see what Pikachu sees right now, or can you even see Pikachu's memories? When I first told you about the battle between Red and Bruno, you looked at me as if you were trying to figure me out. Can I assume that you don't know much about that battle? That you couldn't see the memories of the battle in Pikachu's mind? I think not. Well, am I wrong? No matter though, but there's this brutal scraping sound going on that catches Lorelei's attention. Bill also goes, "What is that?" Lorelei looks around saying, "The sound, what?" But suddenly the wave between Lorelei and Yellow and Bill cracks off, causing them to plummet. Lorelei looks to see a Rattata having gnawed through the ice, with her questioning, "Hyperfang." As Yellow, Bill, and the Pokemon fall, Lorelei says, "Under the ice, a Rattata." Yellow and Bill hit the ground and hard, but Lorelei readies a Pokeball saying, "You're not getting away that easily." Suddenly, some sludge hits near her feet. She turns to see the shadow of Green with a horsey. Lorelei calls out, "Who is that?" But Green makes her way off. "Oh, okay." But as Lorelei turns back to Yellow, the part of the water that wasn't frozen is taking them downriver, as Lorelei clicks her teeth in anger. As they make their way down the river, and Bill has found a stick in order to help guide them, as he says, "Phew, we're safe. They can't still be chasing us. But I never would have thought to escape with a Rattata. Them some front teeth you got there, fella." Yellow yawns, saying, "That was my first Pokemon, my first friend." She picks up the Rattata, saying, "Thanks, Ratty," and it wags its tail. Bill says, "You know what? We never did introductions. I'm Bill." But Yellow's already asleep, as Bill falls over saying, not again. Meanwhile, back at the Indigo Plateau, Agatha is cleaning the amplification device, saying, "'Tis a foul humor you're in, eh, Lorelei?" Agatha says to her computer with Lorelei on it. Lorelei is talking through a communicator compact. Cool. I thought those only existed in Totally Spies or in, like, Sailor Moon. Lorelei says, "I let my guard down, and that boy possessed an unexpected power." Agatha turns, saying, "An unexpected power, you say?" Lorelei says, "That's right. Amarilla de Basque Verde, Yellow of Viridian Forest. A trainer that can share the heart and read thoughts of Pokemon." Lorelei gets up, saying, "I know my theory is correct. His power is still weak, but if in the future Yellow's mental power grows stronger, and the day comes when he can read Pikachu's thoughts completely, then he will gain important knowledge about us through the memories of that battle, and it would be far too dangerous to let that happen. At first, Pikachu alone was our target, but from now on, we're after Pikachu and Yellow both," she says as she closes her compact communicator. Alright, we pick up with Bill and Yellow making their way still down the river. As the narration says, and so the young trainer who barely survived the battle in Viridian Forest, traveling under the name of Amarillo, has journeyed eastward on the river in a boat of ice, away from the forest, away from the spot where Bill said goodbye. Okay, Bill already dipped, dang. We then pick up in University of Celadon in Celadon City, where Erica is teaching a class, saying, and so it appears that one specialized strain of Magikarp is able to use the Dragon Rage attack. Really? Research is currently being conducted into the phenomenon at the university, and, alright, we'll continue this discussion next week as the bell rings. A man comes up to her saying, "Lady Erica, the department has not failed to notice how very popular your special classes are with the students. We'd like to offer you a position as a full-time lecturer in addition to your once a week." Erica says, "I'm flattered, Professor, but I still have my obligations as a gym leader." The professor says, "Ah, yes, such a shame. I don't mean to be intrusive, but you're looking rather pale." Erica gives a half-hearted smile, saying, "A good friend of mine has been missing for a while." She goes into her office and accesses her computer, saying, "Misty, any new information?" Missy says, "Nothing, Erica. Not since the boy in the straw hat took Pika from Professor Oak and said he'd go find Red." Erica says, "I see. Oh, Red." As she thinks of Red in Chapter 46, whacked by Marowak. Oh, geez. We then pick up of a flash to Red's desperate battle against Bruno. We see a downed Venusaur, Gyarados, I think Aerodactyl, and Poliwrath, as Red dodges out of the way of Hitmonlee and his brutal kicks. But Hitmonlee manages to get Red in the gut with another kick. As Red falls off of a cliff, Pikachu reaches out for him. Pikachu wakes from the nightmare in a huff and looks to the sky, but still can't forget. Pikachu then looks over to Yellow sleeping soundly and runs off into the forest. But before it can get far, Yellow calls out, "Pika, don't do anything foolish, like trying to find Red by yourself." Pikachu turns back to Yellow, as Yellow smiles, saying, "Now we have an early morning tomorrow, let's sleep." But Pikachu gets all electrified. Yellow gets up, saying, "Pika, what's wrong?" Pikachu hits Yellow with an electric attack, and Yellow thinks, "You dreamed of Red, didn't you? I can sense it." "I'm sorry, Pika. I know it's difficult for you to listen to the commands of one who is not your trainer, but you have to believe me. I want to save Red as much as you do. Please stay and help me until we can find him. You've come this far because you believed in me, yes?" Pikachu is still on edge, but a voice calls out to Yellow, "At last, I found you." Oh, Erica, her Pokemon, and the townspeople come up saying, "You are the one, aren't you? The one who passed through Pallet Town and took Pika with him." Yellow is taken aback as Erica says, "Professor Oak was kind enough to fill me in. That's Pikachu, the one returnee from a terrible battle, and a boy in a yellow straw hat who said Pika would help him. The professor seemed to hold you in very high regard, but it seems Pika is less easily impressed. Who are you?" Yellow says, "Basque Verde." Erica says, "I'm Erica, Celadon City gym leader and one of Red's closest friends," which, I guess? I mean, they might have grown in friendship over the 2 years, who am I to say, but it was more of an acquaintance back in the original adventure. Misty was one of Red's closest friends. They had a friendship. But then again, a brief few days together is enough, I'd say. I have come to place Pika under my care. Yellow is shocked, and as Erica pets Pikachu, is saying that Pikachu is our one lead to Red. Our opponents will be eager to destroy that lead, but the forces of Celadon under my command should be enough to protect it. Basque Verde, a surname peculiar to the Viridian area, is it not? Which is where this Pikachu came from originally. I imagine Pika followed you because of your scent. I hope you aren't counting on a tenuous bond like that to hold together in the heat of battle. Yellow remains silent as Erica's assistant runs up, calling out to her. Erica says, "Are you sure about that?" A sighting of someone fitting Red's descriptions on the western outskirts of Celadon City? Yellow and Pikachu are shocked, and they both go running off. Erica says, "No, Pika!" He tells her people, "Wait, you have to do this together." We cut to Celadon City on the west side. Pikachu is looking around frantically. Yellow runs up saying, "Pika, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. You might be reunited soon with Red, huh, eh?" Suddenly, the figure of Red appears. Yellow and Pikachu turn, Yellow saying, "Red, is that you?" And, Pikachu jumps into Red's arms as Red says, "Hey, Pika, long time no see." See, we've seen Pokemon turn into people before, so I don't buy it. Yellow says, "It is Red, it is." Erica and the townspeople run up saying, "At last." Erica says, "I'm so happy to see you, Red." He wipes a tear away saying, "We were all so worried." But Red gives a mischievous smile and, jeez, decks Erica in the stomach. Davis. Much to the shock of Yellow, Pikachu, and the townspeople, as Erica goes down hard. Pikachu questions this. Yellow thinks, "What? You're not Red." And as the fake Red holds Pika up by its ear, the fake says, "Huh? Shock away, brainless one. I'm well prepared for anything you might do." And as Pikachu lets off a massive blast, Red is completely fine. Yellow says, "How is that possible?" The fake says, "A bodysuit, fools. A bodysuit of my own invention, devised to block electric shock and to emit a scent, chemically engineered to match Red's," which, Jesus, Conway? Who is this? Super Nerd Miles. Okay, that's why. Conway was designed after the Super Nerd. Oh, jeez. Conway was such a jerk, but he wasn't this bad. Conway was such a jerk, though. He just, the sass on that boy. Oh, you want to call him Conway now? I want to call him Conway. Oh, Super Nerd Miles rips off his fake mask, which that must be horrifying to see. And he was wearing glasses underneath it too. Jeebus. Today you face invincible scientific wizardry. Erica looks up in shock as Super Nerd Miles lifts up Pikachu mockingly saying, "Though a foolish world insists upon calling me Super Nerd, the very fact that I anticipated your route surely demonstrates that my genius is not to be mocked." Shoot, he kind of talks like Conway too. As the townspeople move in, I want to call him Conway, not Conway. Not Conway says, "Not too close. Soldiers of Celadon, you have the advantage of numbers, but I have your leader's life in my hand," he says as he steps on Erica's head, which, hey, yeah, Conway wasn't, murderous. He then brings out a Marowak saying, "Now you're demonstrating some intellect." As the people halt in their track, Miles commands Marowak to use Boomerang, which knocks back the townspeople. And again, he sends out another Boomerang, which does even more damage. And as Marowak catches the Boomerang, Not Conway says, "Too easy." Not Conway goes to leave saying, "That will suffice." But Yellow steps forward saying, "You, give me back my Pika." Erica and Pikachu are shocked, and Not Conway turns saying, "Your Pika." Yellow declares, "Until we return Pika to Red, I am Amarillo de Basque Verde. I, Amarillo de Basque Verde, am that Pokemon's trainer." Alright, this half of the volume is very engaging. I wasn't really sure what they were going to do to really kind of adapt the events of the Yellow version, but this isn't a bad choice. Instead of going with a clone of Red, which are by the dozens, they decided to do their own character, which was probably a good call, all things considered. Having Red be defeated in a bit of a conspiracy, I guess the elite want to keep their elite status, by taking out anyone who could challenge their reign, which isn't the most uncommon thing. It's just weird to see people who I'm used to being a little bit nicer actually be kind of murderous. Because the Lorelei in the anime, she was intimidating, but it's hard to think of her as someone who would, do a murder. That's just, that's kind of out. Honestly, most of the Elite Four that we were introduced to along the way were very nice people, all things considered. But that goes for the gym leaders too. Again, the most intimidating one outside of Giovanni was Sabrina. And we had Sabrina be damn near an out-and-out villain to a certain degree, only to be pretty much instantly turned over to the hero side, mostly through Haunter. So I will say I do look forward to maybe she'll be a better person as time goes on. It's just that when you have opponents who are this kind of, we trying to kill you, it's like, okay, so how do we become allies later down the line? But going for this and choosing to make it so that, because later down the line that the red in the games has a Pikachu. His team, for the most part, usually tends to be Blastoise, Charizard, Venusaur, a Pikachu, I think an Eevee, an Evolution, and I forget what else. I had to look it up. He tends to have a Snorlax too, because of the Snorlax you catch along the route. Yes. So yeah, it's an interesting direction to go. There's a lot of stakes. You can kind of believe that. I doubt Red's gonna become the stoic, silent type that's in the games, but Red in the games has a personality that says, he's seen some stuff, man. So, if this is it, then I can kind of believe it. But aside from that, not really much to say, because there's not a lot of answers. Why did they go after Red? Was there a greater purpose, or just wanting to take on someone who's now the best in Kanto, It's an interesting way of going about the whole idea of, well, you're not really the best unless you defeat the Elite Four, which isn't usually the criteria in other versions of things. I do kind of wish there was kind of like a whole, matchup battle kind of thing in the earlier games, though, where you take on very strong opponents one after the other, and then you run the gauntlet of the Elite Four. But then again, maybe that wouldn't work out as well. The concept of Elite Four isn't bad, though. If you aren't strong enough, you're not going to make it too far, because even if you have like full restores and potions, I remember back in the day when I didn't understand the concept of leveling, I didn't level up my Pokemon enough. So even though I could get through some of the Elite Four, you get to the end with Lance, and it's just like, oh god. And even when I did beat Lance, then I'm going up against Blue, and it's just like, oh no, I thought it was done. I was told 4. But I was a dumb little baby at that point. But Yellow's powers, man, Sabrina would feel like the outlier, and to shove in Yellow now is just like, oh, now you're shoving in another character with special abilities. But nowadays with Pokemon, again, because of the power of aura, having people with these weird mystical abilities and all that, it ain't that far-fetched, especially if you've seen the anime. Shoot, even in terms of the manga, there are multiple people and characters with weird abilities and strange goings on in the Pokemon world, period. Not just because of Pokemon. So, Yellow's abilities aren't really that far-fetched in the grand scheme of things, at least as far as nowadays. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also remember to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.